someone talks down to you in front of others, they mock your idea in a meeting, they undercut you with a smile on their face, and everyone watches to see how you'll react. That moment, that single moment, reveals everything about who you are. Most people either explode or collapse. They either fire back with anger and look unstable, or they go silent and look weak. But there is a third option, one that the most powerful people in history have used to turn humiliation into dominance, without raising their voice or losing their composure. This is the Stoic way.
The Stoics weren't passive philosophers sitting in comfortable libraries. Marcus Aurelius ruled the most powerful empire on earth, while enemies plotted against him daily. Epictetus was an actual slave who was physically tortured by his master, and still became one of the most influential thinkers who ever lived. These men understood humiliation at the deepest level, and they developed a system of responses that didn't just protect them, it made them untouchable.
But before we dive in, let me be clear about something. What you're about to learn is not about revenge. It's not about destroying people who cross you. It's about something far more powerful. Mastering yourself so completely that no one can ever shake your foundation again. The person who controls their response controls the outcome. Always. Drop this in the comments right now. I cannot be humiliated by someone I do not respect. Say it. Mean it. Now, let's begin.
Number 1. The silence that dominates. Most people think that when someone humiliates you, you need to respond immediately. Fire back, defend yourself, prove them wrong on the spot. That instinct will destroy you every single time. The Stoics understood something that modern psychology has since confirmed. Silence is not weakness. Silence is a weapon that almost no one knows how to use. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "If someone is able to show me that what I think or do is not right, I will happily change." Notice what he didn't do. He didn't say he would panic. He didn't say he would retaliate. He chose deliberate response over impulsive reaction. Here's what actually happens when you stay silent after someone tries to humiliate you. The room waits. The attacker expects a reaction, because that reaction is what they came for. When you don't give it to them, their entire strategy falls apart. They look like they threw a punch at air, and suddenly the energy in the room shifts from you to them. Think about the last time you watched someone respond to an insult with immediate anger. Did they look powerful? Or did they look like they had just proven the insult right? Anger confirms vulnerability. Silence confirms strength. Practice staying in that silence for 3 to 5 seconds longer than feels comfortable. In those seconds, you are not losing. You are winning. Number 2. The question that disarms. After the silence comes the response, and the Stoics would never waste it on an emotional counterattack. Instead, they used a technique that is devastatingly effective: the calm, genuine question. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." And the most strategic reaction is often a single, composed question directed back at your attacker. Something like, "What did you mean by that exactly?" Or, "Can you help me understand your point more clearly?" Watch what this does. It forces the person who tried to humiliate you to explain themselves, out loud, in front of everyone.
Most insults and put-downs only work when they're vague and fast. The moment you ask someone to clarify their attack slowly and publicly, they either reveal their pettiness to the entire room or they back down entirely. Either outcome works in your favor. This isn't passive. This is calculated. You are not defending yourself. You are making them do the work of exposing themselves. The Stoics called this turning an obstacle into a path forward. The very thing someone uses against you becomes the thing that reveals their weakness. Number 3. Absolute indifference to their opinion. Here is the truth that will change everything for you. The person who tried to humiliate you only has power if you grant it to them, not 1 ounce more. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Most people live and die by what others think of them. Their self-worth rises and falls with every comment, every look, every whispered judgment. The Stoics called this being a slave to external things, and they considered it the most dangerous form of captivity because you build the cage yourself. When you genuinely stop needing approval from people who don't respect you, something remarkable happens. Their words simply do not land. It's not that you're pretending not to be hurt. It's that you have built your identity on something so solid, your values, your actions, your character, that a comment from a small-minded person literally cannot reach it. Think about it this way. If a stranger walked up to you on the street and said, "You're a terrible chess player," and you've never played chess in your life, would that hurt? No, because it has no connection to your identity. That is exactly how the Stoics trained themselves to feel about any humiliation that was unjust or unfair. It simply doesn't apply, and so it simply doesn't wound. Number 4. Agree and advance. This one shocks people when they first hear it, but it is one of the most psychologically sophisticated responses in the entire Stoic arsenal. When someone humiliates you, sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is partially agree and then redirect the entire conversation on your own terms. Seneca wrote, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." Every attempt to humiliate you is a difficulty, and the Stoic response to difficulty is never retreat, it is transformation. Here's how this looks in practice. Someone says in a meeting, "That idea of yours will never work." Most people defend, they argue, they explain, they beg for the room's approval. The Stoic response is, "You might be right that there are challenges. Here's why I still think it's worth pursuing." In one sentence, you've absorbed the blow, maintained your position, and moved forward. Your attacker expected resistance. You gave them agreement and then walked right past them. This works because it removes the thing they were counting on, your emotional reaction. When you agree without collapsing, you strip them of their power while keeping all of yours. The room watches a person who cannot be rattled, and that person immediately becomes the most commanding presence in the space. Number 5. Respond with results, not words. The Stoics were obsessed with one thing above all else: action. Not talking about action, not planning action, actual, visible, undeniable results in the real world. And when someone tries to humiliate you, the most devastating long-term response is not what you say in that moment. It is what you do in the months that follow. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good person should be. Be one." Replace the word good person with successful person, with capable person, with powerful person, and the principle holds in every case. Stop arguing. Start building. Every person who has ever publicly underestimated someone else has handed that person a gift. The gift of motivation with a clear target. The most successful people in history understood this. They didn't fire back at their critics with words. They built empires, created masterpieces, and solved problems that their critics couldn't even understand. And then they let the results speak with a volume that no argument ever could. This is not patience out of weakness. This is strategic patience, the kind Seneca described when he said, "Retire into yourself as much as possible. You are not disappearing, you are loading." Number 6. Protect your inner circle. Destroy their access. Not every response to humiliation needs to be visible. Some of the most powerful responses happen in private, through decisions the other person never even sees coming. The Stoics were deeply intentional about who they allowed into their inner world, their thoughts, their time, their energy. Epictetus taught that we suffer not from events, but from our judgment about events. And one of the most important judgments you can make after someone humiliates you is this: does this person deserve continued access to me? In most cases, the answer the Stoics would arrive at is no. Not with drama, not with a public announcement. Simply no. Number 7. Use it as fuel, not as fire. The final and most powerful Stoic response to humiliation is also the most personal. It requires a kind of inner alchemy that very few people ever achieve. It is the ability to take something meant to break you and use it to build yourself. Every great Stoic philosopher endured public humiliation. Epictetus was tortured and enslaved. Marcus Aurelius was mocked by rivals who called him a philosopher king unfit for war, while he spent decades defending Rome on the battlefield. Seneca was exiled, stripped of his wealth, and eventually ordered to take his own life. And yet every single one of them used those experiences not as wounds, but as materials. Number 7. Use it as fuel, not as fire. The final and most powerful Stoic response to humiliation is also the most personal. It requires a kind of inner alchemy that very few people ever achieve. It is the ability to take something meant to break you and use it to build yourself. Every great Stoic philosopher endured public humiliation. Epictetus was tortured and enslaved. Marcus Aurelius was mocked by rivals who called him a philosopher king unfit for war, while he spent decades defending Rome on the battlefield. Seneca was exiled, stripped of his wealth, and eventually ordered to take his own life. And yet every single one of them used those experiences not as wounds, but as materials. Here is the truth that ties all 7 of these responses together. Humiliation only has permanent power over people who have no power over themselves. The Stoic does not build a life free from being attacked. The Stoic builds a self that cannot be damaged by attacks. There is a difference, and that difference is everything. The 7 responses you've just learned, the commanding silence, the disarming question, the indifference to opinion, the agreement and advance, the response through results, the quiet removal of access, and the transformation of pain into fuel. These are not tricks. They are the architecture of an unbreakable character.